You're watching us live from Banjul, and this is the news at 2000 hours from GRTS with me, Fatimata Sise, and coming up, Sokoto's zonal side receives rockstar welcome after winning the Super Maritime Championship. And Chief Justice S.M. Jallow urges young people to take a more proactive role in nation building. And Lebanese Prime Minister Saad Hariri announces his resignation during a visit to Saudi Arabia. And agronomists from the Arab world meet in Algiers to map out strategies to boost agricultural investment in the region. Well, these plus other stories will come up in just a moment. Please stay tuned. And we begin this bulletin with Saturday's zonal finals, and thousands of people stormed the streets of Sukuta to welcome their victorious team, and the celebrations lasted well into the night. And Ms. Jallow followed the team as the players and team officials paraded their trophy around the sprawling town.
Well, as you can see, the giant 2017 Super Marathon Trophy is now making its way into Sukuta, and as you can see, procession of vehicles from the Independence Stadium right to the Battle Hardin Highway, through Bakote, through Manjai, and now into Sukuta. People, fans who couldn't go to the game are coming out in their numbers to come and welcome their victorious team. And you can see that is the team bus over there, and then the trophy just after the team bus. They are now making their way slowly but steadily into Sukuta. The Dembadu boys of Sukuta are the champions of the 2017 Super Marathon competition. They beat Bara SL Mayamba combination in shot them by 3-1 in a post-match penalty shootout. Them, who started brightly, were on the verge of winning their first Super Marathon trophy when they had a 1-0 lead going into the break. Dudunjai scored with a brilliant finish on the stroke of halftime to give them a vital lead going into the halftime break. But Sukuta fought back in the second half, and an own goal by Mbakenjai restored parity for the Dembadu boys. And then the game eventually ended 1-1, forcing the tie into a nail-biting post-match penalty shootout. And the Dembadu boys held their nerves to win by 3-1 to win their second Super Marathon trophy. And right now, the celebrations are well into the night. Like I said before, a procession of vehicles from the Independence Stadium right through the Battle Hardin Highway, through Bakote, through Manjai, and now gradually making its way into Sukuta. People are coming out, fans are coming out, all young, children, everyone in Sukuta wants to be associated with this success story. This is the beauty of community football. This is the beauty of the Super Marathon. And we are going to follow the team, we are going to follow the celebrations, we are going to follow the processions right into the heart of Sukuta, where we will be expecting more people to come out to rejoice with the victory of the Sukuta zonal team, winning their second Super Marathon trophy.
Kami kami dah kono minang alquran terong ke damen kono. Another sadafeji. Sidi mani nyol.
Makuma ko male fali.
Akai kuma ko male fali.
Nkale ko.
Akai kali ko.
Ni alsonta.
Ni alsonta.
Amin dua.
Ay min dua.
Ali anyati ndawo.
Ali anyati ndawo da.
Aljele.
Aljele.
And the entire village, entire Secretarians are out to come and be part of the celebrations. You can see the turnout from behind there, people are just out. Well, these celebrations will certainly last well into the night, and because I'm certain that they will party well into the night to celebrate their famous victory against Bara Esau Mayamba. But what we have seen here in Sukuta, also known as Dembadu, is definitely amazing. Entire community almost came out to welcome the victorious 2017 Super Nawetan champions back to Dembadu. But for now, this is where we are going to draw the curtains on our coverage of Sukuta's celebrations of their triumph in the 2017 Super Nawetan title. Mohamed S. Jallo, GRTS Sports in Sukuta or Dembadu.
Congratulations there to Sukuta. And well, we will have more on that final in our sport news before the end of this newscast. And next, to a scheme questing to enhance service delivery in the health sector. And it's all happening courtesy of the Medical Research Council, whose partnership with Horizons is culminated in an international conference aimed at identifying capacity needs of senior leaders in the health service sector. And the conference, as Fatu Janembai reports, attracted health experts from across the sub-region.
Horizons Regional Training for West Africa has kicked off at the Medical Research Council in Bakau. The training, which brought together health experts across the sub-region, is intended to identify the competences and marketing styles of senior leaders in the services sector and to leverage senior leader thinking to accelerate the Gambia's position in the modern world.
And they are very keen to help us in the area of telemedicine, and also to benefit from the progress that has been made in digital medicine and also the provision of services through current uses of software developments.
The October International Conference will look at areas such as women's health, healthcare management, chronic disease care, customer service, teleconsultation, as well as patient safety and quality.
The area also organization of the Horizons complex, because we have the Horizons Clinic itself, which, as you know, is going to provide state-of-the-art clinical services. And then, of course, we have the Horizons Trust, which is the charitable arm of the Horizons complex. And then, of course, we have the Training Institute. So when the Training Institute kicks off in earnest, and hopefully with the clinic being in operation, then we'll be able to really see the benefits.
The training is organized by the Baylor Group and their partners such as Horizons, Baylor University, the Baylor School of Medicine, Medical Research Council, and the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, and is jointly funded by the African Development Bank and the Islamic Development Bank, respectively.
The Gambia has high hopes for Horizon. Gambians need and deserve a world-class healthcare provision, specifically the need for accessible, equitable, and high-quality maternal and infant healthcare in the Gambia. So Horizon's social contribution is most welcome. That said, for true long-term sustainability, education and training will be the most transformative intervention, and hence we are delighted to see the start of this critical intervention.
Dr. Aaron S. Rajan gave a presentation on the challenges of healthcare delivery in rural areas, introduction to telemedicine, emerging digital technologies, and lessons for the Gambia.
Now, in terms of the early uses in sort of the more modern era of telemedicine in the 1960s, primarily for radiology. So the radiologists were the first people who really started adopting the use of telemedicine, and also to start capturing some sounds, for example, from your stethoscope, and to use ECGs. It was used for video across lie, to others. And it was primarily developed for rural outreach.
The training, as organizers put it, is not only going to focus on clinical services, but will also look at information technology, administration of health services to provide Gambians with optimum healthcare delivery. Upon completion, the Horizons West Africa training program will support the provision of self-sustainable healthcare services in the Gambia and the sub-region. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Fatou Janembai.
And the Chief Justice of the Gambia has reiterated the need for young people to take an active role in nation building, and Chief Justice Hassan Jallow made this remarks during a public address staged to host visiting guests from the Africa Group for Justice and Accountability in the Gambia. Falulu Janko reports.
A day-long public symposium on the topic Gambia on Transition, Lessons and Examples from Abroad pulls together a gathering of scholars and legal personalities at the University of the Gambia's Law Faculty. This program was organized by the Africa Group for Justice and Accountability, AGJA, for lawyers, students and judges from the Gambia and abroad. The students of the University of the Gambia played a crucial role in the making of what we call the New Gambia, according to the UTG Dean, Dr. Abubakar Senghor. This is as a result of a meeting he had with the students during his days as the Higher Education Minister. Dr. Senghor said students has humble professors on various topics and concerns raised about good governance and the rule of law.
In this very hall, where I presided over the meeting as the former Minister for Higher Education, and I saw qualities like boldness, straightforward, cohesion in the arguments, logical, name them. Students mounted very, very powerful arguments, so much so that senior academics, professors, associate professors sitting in front of them and politicians were humbled and subdued.
The Chief Justice of the Gambia, Hassan Jallow, delivered a background of the Africa Group for Justice and Accountability in promoting good governance in the continent of Africa, and noted that young people played a vital role in effecting change in the Gambia and must as such know what choices to make towards the future.
It was formed by a small group of some of us with a mandate to provide advisory services to African governments and institutions on matters relating to justice, accountability, democracy and the rule of law. The Gambia is in a transition stage. There are many choices we have to make about the future. How do we want to govern ourselves? On basis of what principles? How do we deal with the past 2 decades, the issues arising from the past 2 decades?
From Algeria, Dr. Fatia Soror spoke at length about the principles of constructive dialogue and its relevance in the attainment of peace and security.
I would draw your attention as students to very recent UN Security Resolution 2282 that is for the first time speaking about, very strongly, about inclusiveness, about national ownership, and particularly about the involvement of all stakeholders.
Former Chief Justice of Tanzania, Mohamed Chande Uthman, outlined key points required to effectively undertake a constitutional review process and build a new constitution. Victims are foremost and critical in the setting up and success of Truth and Reconciliation Committees, and for Mark Custon, a lecturer at the University of Toronto in Canada, the discharge of justice and accountability has to consider this vital group and their experiences. For GRTS News, I am Falilu Emel Janko.
And the anti-FGM network, the Gambia, with funding from the Girl Generation, is holding a 4-day training for police officers from the Greater Banjul area and the West Coast region. And the aim is to strengthen capacity to effectively tackle issues affecting the rights of women and girls. Saidu Kamara tells us more.
The anti-FGM youth network, supported by the Girl Generation, embarks on yet another training program. This time, police officers are being trained on FGM and other subjects related to gender-based violence. The chairperson of the network, Modlamin Davis, said it is important to look across the entire view when examining cases of FGM and violence against women and children, as victims come from every age of group. ranging from kids to the elderly.
It's important that we train police, gender and child welfare officers, but it's also important that we train prosecutors. It's as well very important that we train police officers from the major crime unit. And because we're not only looking at issues of violence against women and children, we are also looking at issues around FGM or female genital mutilation.
Cadet Margaret Jata and Sergeant Usaini Toure said the training will equip them with requisite skills and knowledge in handling cases of gender-based violence when they are reported.
I believe that this training will equip us to know how to deal with such cases like FGM. When cases of such are reported in the station, you have to be equipped on how to interview those people and on how to prosecute those cases.
I believe our coming here, we are going to gain a lot, and from here when you go back to our various stations, then we can disseminate such information to our colleagues and the community as well.
The Anti-FGM Youth Network is a youth activist organization working under the Anti-FGM movement, which aims to bring all organizations together to amplify their voices in sending one message across the country.
So you as officers, when you have, let's say, a case of a victim of female genital mutilation who is not a child, then probably, may God forbid, in the event of death or so, then the major crime unit might have a part or a stake in that case, isn't it? Then the prosecutors might also have a stake in that case. I mean, we feel it's important that we train police officers on the Women's Amendment Act and the Children's Amendment Act, respectively.
The serious crime units, Jawar Keta, acknowledge the role of the police and law enforcement in eradicating cases of gender-based violence in communities.
As a police officer, you have a very key role to play as far as this gender violence and all is happening here. You know, in Africa it is common, but in Gambia, we will also do our best as far as we are police to eradicate it completely. But it cannot be done in overnight, because the community has to be sensitized. But more importantly, to my own opinion, the religious leaders.
At the end of the 4-day training, organizers are hoping that these police officers will be fully equipped with essential skills and knowledge to effectively handle cases involving gender-based violence. Saidu Kamara, GRTS News.
And let's head to Bakau, because a busy weekend there has seen town folks converge at the fish landing site of the area seafront for a massive cleanup exercise. And HM Silver reports that volunteer groups and a cheerful crowd thoroughly sanitized the area as the usual weekend exercise dubbed Setsetal engaged all the precincts of the city, including Bundu.
In his all-black Gambia has decided T-shirt is the Bakau constituency deputy Asan Toure, who decided to take a pause from his normal political activities and lead a group of volunteers to rid this heap of garbage off the coastline. Bakau Beach as one of the prominent tourist recreation areas with a very beautiful landscape remains an exquisite area for hosts of visiting holiday makers. With the new tourist season going well into its second month, setting up a tidy and conducive atmosphere with a fresh breath of air through this exercise can be seen as a decisive charm offensive to entice more and more visitors descending on the smiling coast to flock there and buy some time.
Well, it's very significant in the sense that tourists are coming here every day and the environment is not conducive for them to see that perform. This is why we decided to come together and make sure that the environment is very clean.
The exercise is also described by some as a show of unity in a town which was once cracked by political divisions and tensions, from New Town to Cape Point, and from Cape Point to Wasulumkunda, Tambakunda and Kachikali. Every ward was well represented. The big turnout has enthused the spokesperson of the town's development committee, Basiru Gassama, who said the era of politics is over.
We, the people of Bakau, after much of politics, we forget about our political differences, put our hearts together, and see the nation, the peace and tranquility it is enjoying to be a continuous one. The empty drainages and poured various makeshift heap of waste in many parts of the pitch. Among the dozens of participants are soldiers from the Fajara military barracks. Members of the Gambia and then we are instructed by our commanding officer to come and give a helping hand to the Bakau community. This is initiated by the Honorable Member of Parliament and the Council. Fajara Barrack is part of Bakau, so we are no exemption. All roads will now lead to the Bakau Cemetery, where similar exercises are expected to hold next week. Etienne Silva, GRTS News.
And the leading Gambian entrepreneur, Mr. Fanjai, has won the Entrepreneur of the Year West Africa on the All Africa Business Leadership Award 2017, and the CEO of TAF Construction Limited beat off competition from other established businesses in the region at a ceremony held in Lagos, Nigeria. But when we come back, we'll look at more news. Stay tuned.
Deals of the year. Yeah. If I say discounts on the whole house, you say alright. And if I tell you incredible prices, make over the bathroom. So take the plunge into the water. Whoa. Yes. Take your comfort to another level. So do not miss the golden deal. The prices in promotion. Batima, quality guaranteed. The golden deal. The best deals of the year for the whole house with Batima's quality. The golden deal.
Welcome back, and we'll go back to the zonal finals where Secretarians are celebrating their second Supernowa time triumph after beating them on post-match penalty shootout, and the two sides scored a goal apiece either side of half-time, and thousands watched the spectacle at the Independence Stadium in Bakau, and Ernest Jala was among them, and he filed in this report.
This is certainly by far the biggest game of the country's 2017 sporting calendar. The Independence Stadium filled to capacity as Sukuta and BEM contest the coveted Supernowa Trophy. For the past 2 weeks, the country's headline stories were dominated by the Supernowa euphoria, with 12 of the country's major Nowa centers competing in the 3-week-long tournament, which is the Gambia's most exciting and most followed football tournament, with great fanfare and some heated local derbies. Sukuta and Bara, Esau and Mayamba in BEM set up this mouth-watering final after respective semi-final wins against Gunjur and Serekunda East. It was the first time these two sides are meeting in a Supernowa final, with Sukuta hoping to end their 12-year trophy drought in the competition, having won their first and only Supernowa title in 2005, whilst Bara, Esau and Mayamba were seeking their first Supernowa title, and both fans were confident of victory.
100% sure that we go home with the victory.
Sukuta, then we win the match by 2 goals to 0, inshallah. Sukuta is playing against BEM.
Okay.
Which team are you supporting?
BEM.
Supporting BEM?
Yes. Yeah, BEM.
The final had all the ingredients, from a full house, perhaps the biggest turnout at a local football match in recent years, and an electrifying atmosphere with a near-perfect organization. BEM got off their blistering pace. The Nyomi boys were the quicker to settle, dominating much of the first half. BEM exerted relentless pressure, creating some very good chances, which were squandered. Sukuta were outplayed and looked a shadow of themselves from their semi-finals. BEM's first half dominance was finally rewarded on the stroke of half-time, when Dudunjai finished up brilliantly from a swift counter-attacking move. Sukuta lost possession in their own half, and the BEM players capitalized to take a deserved half-time lead. The second half was quite the opposite as Sukuta took control of proceedings. The Dembadu boys attacked right from the restart, piling pressure on their opponents. As a result, Bangwe were forced to concede an own goal. A cross from the right was diverted into his own net by Makenjai to level the tie. Both sides had chances to win the game, but failed to score, forcing the tie to be decided on a post-match penalty shootout. A nervous moment for both players and their fans. Sukuta controlled their nerves to win the shootout by 3-1. Them were woeful in the penalty shootout, with the Sukuta goalkeeper saving 2 and forcing the other one wide. The Sukuta fans stormed the pitch in wild celebrations with their players.
I tell my players, let's come together so that we can reach this place. That's why we are here, and secondly, we won the trophy.
This is my first year to play zonals, so I win the cup. I'm very happy about it.
It was a very nice final today. We've played, definitely we lose, but we take it in good faith. That today we are on the losing side, we take it in good faith.
Them who missed out on their first Super Navetan trophy received a consolation prize of $50,000, whilst the Dembadu boys of Sukuta were crowned 2017 champions of the FI Bank sponsored Super Navetan with $75,000. Modest GRTS Sports.
And coming up next.